The magic has died. Disney employees are outraged that their company won't speak out about the, quote, "Don't Say Gay" bill. A bill which, of course, doesn't actually exist because there is no bill in Florida prohibiting the saying of the word gay or trans. There is no bill in Florida that prohibits teachers from talking to students about gender identity or sexual orientation. But wait. Now you want to get technical, get more nuanced. There is a bill called the Parental Rights and Education Bill. You probably heard me talk about it yesterday quite a bit. This does prevent teachers from withholding information from parents, and it does prevent classroom discussions on gender and identity for kids preschool to third grade. I want to make sure I'm very, very clear for anybody who has seen Don't Say Gay or watched SNL and needs some help understanding this, because I'm not even gonna. I want to talk to you about the controversy and how the media is lying about this, but let me just outright point out the law here. This is from the Florida House of Representatives. I want to show you outright what it says. It says prohibits classroom discussions about orientation, identity in certain grade levels. Of course, that is pre-K to third grade. To clarify, because I believe even Ben Shapiro is technically incorrect on this one. This is one of the biggest issues I have with propaganda campaigns. The right has fallen for this trap perfectly. Even Ben Shapiro is saying it prohibits, parents from instilling their gender value. It prohibits teachers from instilling their gender values in kids without parental consent. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. With this bill passing, a teacher can still go up to a child and say whatever they want about identity or orientation. It's like people haven't even investigated. It's like even conservatives heard the left say "Don't say gay," and instead of saying that bill does not exist, they said for the most part, many said, "I think the bill is correct." Now, of course, there are many people calling out the bill, calling out the left, saying it's an anti-groomer bill. I've said that too, somewhat facetiously. Like, if they want to use these word games, we'll counter the narrative. But the reality is, this doesn't even stop teachers from grooming kids. The reality here is this bill has everything to do with medical, physical, mental well-being of a child, period. It does include the phrase orientation or identity, but it only prohibits classroom discussions. That is to say, a teacher saying, "Okay, class, today we're going to talk about this, that, or otherwise." They can still talk to the kids in private, or even groups of kids, or even special presentations. Yet for some reason, what we're hearing across the board is that it's the Don't Say Gay bill. Well, the funniest story here is what the Democrats have done is they've imagined a problem in their mind, then panicked about that problem that doesn't exist, then started complaining to corporations to condemn something that isn't happening. It's truly remarkable. The magic has died. I love this. Disney employees are angry because Disney won't condemn this. BuzzFeed reports Disney employees ranging from characters in theme parks to writers on their TV shows are speaking out against their employer after reports the company donated money to politicians sponsoring the so-called Don't Say Gay bill. I think it's ridiculous. And I don't really care to get into the Disney aspect of the story. I want to get into the controversy aspect of the story because I want to make sure you truly understand as I show you the facts that the Democrats created a problem in their own minds and are now crying about it. Here's what I have to say to all the Republicans. Look, I like Ben Shapiro. He's an all right dude. He's pretty cool. I've been on his show. I think he's a good guy. But I have questions. All right. So Mark Hamill tweeted, and I'm quoting here. Gay. Okay, I'm not going to say gay that many times, but I think he posted it. What is this? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Wow. So what does he got here? Just like 70 or so times he said the word gay. Why? Because Occupy Democrats posted a fake tweet. Florida students spoke loud and clear this weekend against the GOP's bill to cancel free speech and LGBTQ people. And they're going to say gay anyway. Oh man, there's just so much to break down here. I would like to make this video. I would like people who believe the Democrats to watch this video and to argue that I'm wrong, by all means. First, I'll start by saying this. Teachers who work for government institutions are on government payroll. They are not granted free speech. They are the government. The government is restricted from inhibiting your speech, but the government can tell the government what they can or can't speak about. That's the simple part. That means the Florida legislature can tell Florida government employees they can't say certain things. Now, perhaps there are some questions about private schools. I'm not sure this covers private schools. It says requires district school boards to adopt measures. So I think if you're in a private school, you can still say whatever you want. All right. And that's important. The other thing is it only has to do with 8-year-olds and below, third graders to pre-K. And it doesn't stop teachers from discussing these things semi-privately or in special settings. It's just no sex ed in the classroom, essentially, for kids preschool to third grade. That's it. How is that unreasonable? And how does that target the LGBTQ community? It doesn't. So let me get back to this tweet, and I'll show you where I believe Ben is incorrect. Ben Shapiro tweeted, "So I take it you wish to indoctrinate small children into gender and sex ideology because that's the only reason you're parroting idiotic propaganda." We then had Ted Lieu respond to Ben Shapiro, saying, "Dear Ben Shapiro, being gay is being human, just like being straight is being human. We are all God's children. Only a homophobe like you would equate being gay as an ideology or as propaganda." You see, I'll tell you what my issue is with Ben Shapiro. As I stated, I think Ben's pretty great, to be completely honest. I'm a big fan of the Daily Wire. I'm a big fan of what they do. Just in this particular context, I believe he has made a critical error. Indoctrinate small children into gender and sex ideology because that's the only reason you're parroting this idiotic propaganda. Ben, you're wrong. They're still allowed to. Teachers in Florida are still allowed to. This statement has nothing to do with Hamill saying. Now, if Ben came out and said, "Mark, you fundamentally misunderstand the bill. Teachers are not only allowed to say gay, they're still allowed to say gay, trans, or otherwise to children who are 4 years old." All this does is prevent classroom discussion. I know I said it a million times. Ted Lieu then conflates this to being like Ben Shapiro's a homophobe, which then brings us to Ben Shapiro saying, "Dear Ted Lieu, I am wondering why you believe it is the role of schools to indoctrinate small children with your gender and sexual values without parental permission, because that's what this bill stops, and you should stop lying about it." Ben, you're wrong. You are incorrect. The bill does not stop this. You see, what really grinds my gears is that Democrats started calling the bill the Don't Say Gay bill. Republicans believed what the Democrats were saying about it, and now everyone seems to have forgotten that quite literally it is just about parents having a right to know what's happening to their kids. The bulk of the bill is that teachers must inform parents. Do I keep saying teachers? Parents have a right to know. If something happens to their kid, teacher's got to tell them. I'll give you some scenarios. Kid falls down and stubs his toe. Oh no, he's bruised and his toe may be broken. The teacher must inform the parents. The teacher cannot tell the child to hide the injury from their parents. There's a wide variety of things this bill covers. Let's say a kid slips and falls in the school and, hurts his leg. And the teacher talks to the principal and the principal says, "We are gonna get sued." Tell the kid not to say anything to his parents. Now you can't do that. You can't. Ron DeSantis had an absolutely amazing slam. Check out this video from Twitter. Let me play this video. Here we go. Okay, it's like almost impossible to hear. But someone asks Ron DeSantis about the parental rights and education bill.
Does it say that in the bill? Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill because you are pushing false narratives. It doesn't matter what critics say.
Well, it says it bans classroom instruction on sexual identity and gender orientation.
It's hard to hear, but
for grades pre-K through 3. So 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And the idea that you wouldn't be honest about that and tell people what it actually says, it's why people don't trust people like you because you peddle false narratives.
There you go. Oh, wait.
And so we just
everyone starts clapping. And then everyone clapped like the meme suggests. Reporter says, "I want to ask you about the parental rights bill, banning discussions of gay or whatever." And Ron DeSantis says, "Where in the bill does it say that? Where?" And they say, "Well, it says classroom discussions." And he's like, "For 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. Now, here's my favorite part. Ladies and gentlemen, in response to Ben Shapiro's tweet, good friend of the show and good friend of mine, Ariel Scarcella, says, "I've read the bill and I live in Florida and agree with it." Heavens! But Ariel, You yourself are a lesbian. Certainly you must be opposed to this. I love this response from Underground Man. He says, I agree that parents should sue any school districts that allow discussion involving straight marriage or heteronormative gender identity, since the bill bans encouraging any discussion of orientation or identity. These people have no idea what they're talking about. The bill literally does ban this. And I have no issue with it. And I don't think anyone else does. This is one of the issues I'm taking with Ben Shapiro's tweet. The school, he's acting like it is specifically targeting LGBTQ stuff. It doesn't. The bill will prevent a teacher from telling a 6-year-old about an adult human male and adult human female copulating. If Florida says we don't want sex ed for 8-year-olds and under, sure, whatever. You see, the idea that this has anything to do with the LGBTQ community is complete politicization. Oh, I hate that word. Politicizing. You see, what happened was, yes, let's be totally real. Some components of this bill were born specifically out of LGBTQ ideology, and a blanket bill was created. But the bill doesn't prevent what the left is claiming it prevents. Now, certainly, the reason there's a provision in the bill that says that teachers or school district personnel can't discourage or prohibit parental notification and involvement of critical decisions affecting students' mental health, emotional, or physical well-being is because there was a young girl who was told by her school that she was trans and gave her a male identity, and then she tried to kill herself. It's horrifying. I am of the opinion that kids who need help should get it. But I am mostly of the opinion that parents know better than teachers. A child will be with a teacher for only a few years, but a child will be with their parent for 18 plus. I mean, their whole lives. And that means if you genuinely believe in what is best for the kids, the parents must be notified, period. Now, why is that so wrong? If a child comes to you and says that they want to get married or whatever, the teacher can still talk to the child about marriage. If a child goes to a teacher and says that they are gay, the teacher can still talk to the child about being gay. If a bunch of students are curious and they go to the teacher and say, what is marriage and what is the birds and the bees? The teacher can tell them all about it. But if the teacher opens up a book and says, I want to talk to you all about heteronormative copulation and marriage, you can't do that. And I have no issue with that. Children should be allowed to be children. These are prepubescent kids who don't even have general concepts of sexuality. And fine, don't include it in the curriculum. But the Democrats lie. They lie across the board. And then you see this Florida high school students walk out over a Don't Say Gay bill. You see, this is the real goal. They've done something truly amazing in convincing a bunch of kids. Look, I'm willing to bet most of these kids, a good portion, have no idea what's going on. They're just like, I'll walk out of school. I don't care. They're like, I don't want to be in school anyway. Many of them just believe lies from the mainstream press. So please, everyone, conservatives or otherwise, accurately describe this bill. Because when you see tweets like this, well, here we go. Someone said, so you think it's okay for parents to sue teachers who teach students it's not okay to be prejudiced? This Underground Man says, no, I was just pointing out the plain language of the bill should allow districts to be sued for allowing discussions of straight heteronormative lifestyle because that would be included in orientation or identity. Yes, that is part of it. And I don't think anyone on the right cares. These people seem to think that the entirety of the reason of this bill is just to like claim they don't like gay people. They you know what? I'm going to say it. The bill is the Don't Say Straight bill. That's right. The bill is actually now called the Don't Say Straight bill. Tweet that out. Don't say straight, because the language would prohibit a teacher from discussing heteronormative behaviors too. Oh, and they're just now realizing this? Perhaps the real goal of the bill is to make sure parents are informed about what's happening with their kids. The Don't Say Straight bill. Oh, I think that's wrong. Oh, these Republicans, they're trying to indoctrinate kids to being gay by telling teachers they can't tell children what it means to be straight. What's the difference between their narrative and that one? Nothing. You invert it, but the same technicalities apply. I could then say, to Ben Shapiro, I think kids should be taught about being straight, but your bill, Republicans, prevents it. That's why I don't like what Ben Shapiro's tweeting. I don't like what a lot of conservatives are tweeting. I don't like the fact that right-wing news outlets are calling it the Don't Say Gay bill. It's not in any way. But of course, that's what they're doing. I do want to point out this one I find really funny. CNN reports, quote, "I am deeply gay. Kate McKinnon mocks Florida's controversial bill." In their video, CNN shows this graphic. Let me see if I can play it. I don't really care to play their audio. It says, Kate McKinnon mocked Florida's controversial state bill banning instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity. Let me make sure. I want to read it verbatim. Verbatim. In K through 3 classrooms. Well, bravo CNN for pointing that out. Discussion about sexual orientation and gender in kindergarten. It's actually pre-K to 3rd grade. CNN pointed out it's specifically for 3rd graders and below. So you hit 4th grade, teacher can pull out a book and say, let's talk about the birds and the bees. Let's talk about straight, gay, whatever. It's all allowed. So the don't say straight bill, or the anti-grooming bill, whatever you want to call it, is they're lying about it. Christina Pusha, spokesperson for Ron DeSantis, responded to the SNL segment saying, why does Saturday Night Live want to teach 3 to 8-year-old children about sex without telling their parents? That's a good question, because let's break down what this really is. The bill is actually pretty good. No sex ed for children, particularly if you're not informing their parents. And then I say, okay, sure, I don't care, whatever. I don't want a teacher going to my kid without me knowing and talking about any kind of identity or sex stuff. I don't have any kids. I'm just saying hypothetically, figuratively. Many people are concerned about that. So these Democrats who keep saying don't say gay want teachers to talk to 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds about sex without the parents knowing. Why? It's a good question. Why? I don't know. I think it's creepy. Take a look at our good friends over at Google. So I did a search for Don't Say Gay minus Disney. Because when you search for it right now, the big story is that Disney is, pissing everybody off. But we have this from Google. You can see their search. Don't say gay bill, don't say gay bill, don't say gay bill, don't say gay bill, don't say gay bill. Every single outlet says the exact same thing. You know what, man? This is why I have little faith in the Republicans, the right, the conservatives. Conservatives do half measures. This bill is a half measure. It doesn't actually ban the discussion of gay or straight. It equally prohibits gay or trans. It equally prohibits the discussion of heteronormative behavior and homonormative or whatever you describe. I don't know. Behaviors equally. The Democrats have been able to capture the narrative with a fake statement that does not represent in any way what the bill does, lie, convince everybody it does something it doesn't do. And I wonder why it is. Why is it? I think there's something simple here. They're lying to you outright and overtly because they don't want parents to know what they're being taught, period. I don't think it has anything to do with gender identity or otherwise. I think it has to do with they're going to say to your kids it's going to be critical race theory. The Democrats on the left try claiming critical race theory is not being taught in schools, but it is. And, we've had several guests on Timcast IRL show us books. We had one guest who brought us a stack of books. One showing like a white hand with a devil tail and a whiteness contract. That's the real issue. The gender stuff, the gay stuff is a manipulation because they want people who believe the Democrats to be trapped in that world. To believe that the Republicans are evil racists. I do think they're losing. And I think the fact that Timcast IRL does so well is evidence of this. Timcast IRL is not staunch Trump supporter, MAGA 2020. The left tries to claim it is. They're like, Tim Pool is MAGA. And I'm like, I voted for Trump like many independent voters voted for Trump. And I did not vote for him in 2016. Like many people who decided to vote for Trump, I think it was around 10 million or more. Second time around, it had a lot to do with the insanity and the lies from the Democrats and that Trump proposed some pretty good things, getting out of Afghanistan, school choice, etc. I think there is a growing independent, moderate faction in this country. I think most of the people who watch my content are. And, we're starting to realize what they're doing in these schools with indoctrination. So they're trying to lie. I think there are a lot of good people who align themselves with Democrats because they've been manipulated. And it's sad. Hopefully videos like this in some way can help break people out of those lies. But this is why they try claiming that I'm a MAGA guy or far right or conspiracy or whatever. The goal is to try and make sure that any Democrat personality won't watch these videos Why? Well, I literally pulled up the bill. I even explained how Ben Shapiro got it wrong. And they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to hear that. They want you to be stuck in the matrix, believing what they tell you to believe. And the reality is, if you took only a few minutes to Google this, you'd break yourself free. We need to help people have that awakening moment where they realize they're being lied to. There's so many people who say that, like, I believed everything they were saying, and then I saw Donald Trump speak. And I realized everything they said was a lie. Donald Trump does condemn white nationalism. Well, to be honest, he is still kind of a dick. Loudmouth, arrogant, and all that stuff. But when you actually listen to him, you realize the media's been lying about so much. And here you go. How many news outlets pushed the Democrat PR narrative? A massive success for the Democrats. Republicans lack the skills to counter it. And more importantly, Republicans won't even pass bills that do what they're claiming they do. Democrats say Republicans want to ban saying gay. Republicans didn't do that. Republicans then compromise, giving Democrats more ground. I think the Republicans are mostly trash. I think Ron DeSantis does a pretty good job, but this bill is fairly moderate and doesn't do what the left or the right claims it does. Not all on the right, obviously. Even when people call it anti-grooming, like I've referred to it that way to counter the narrative from the left, is still hyper-focused on one tiny piece, and it doesn't even stop grooming. So it's frustrating, man. Hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you can shatter that narrative and help other people break free. In the time being, I'm not confident when you have Republicans who do half measures that we're going to see anything. You know, look, 10, 15 years, Republicans are going to be far left. And the far left will be something crazy. In 20 years, the far left will be cyberized computer brains existing in the metaverse. And the Republicans are going to be, communists, LGBTQ activists. That's the way things go, I guess. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.